Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Burner once again. As the title says, I'm gonna offer up some leveling tips. We just finished the faction level up event, and we're also gonna do a bonus 10 pull for that Romanov. As I've mentioned before, a lot of my experience and point of view comes from the free-to-play standpoint, so if you're not too interested in level up techniques, you can go ahead and jump to those 10 pulls. I know everybody loves to see them. No offense taken. I'm gonna just go ahead and assume that most people already know the basics about getting elite training, storing your food and survivors in there, and then pulling them out later in order to get 2 stars. Instead, I'm going to talk about something that's sort of come to call cramming. It's a technique I don't think a lot of people are doing, mainly because they haven't seen or read about it in the forums or other videos, but it's definitely a valuable way to have more storage, whether you're free to play or pay to play. As you can see, after this faction level up, one of my training grounds is empty. I'm not going to do anything at the moment. I got some plans for it, but looking around, if you paid attention, I always got things going on. That's just sort of how it is once your town hall gets really high. Let's go ahead and take a look at my roster real quick. As you can see, I'm at max capacity, 110 out of 110. As we start to scroll through my roster, I'm kind of at this point between 3 and 4 star where I'm just starting to build a big enough stable of 4s that eventually I'm going to have to get rid of some of these 3s. I mainly use a lot of them for scavenger hunt, but as I get these 4s leveled up, I'm just not going to have a use and just basically going to have to cut ties with them. Another quick tip is what you see here. I save up 3 stars of a certain type persona. That way I can really attack AR objectives during level ups and get those bonuses really fast. Obviously, there's the argument of lost supply points with this, but for me, there's so many other avenues of supply points, and there's always that weight of trying to get the 5 star you want from the supply depot that it's really not an issue to me. For having another avenue to potentially get a 5 star being the level up event, I gladly burn however many supply points this is. I mean, if you burn 10,000 supply points, that's 1/5 of what you're going to pay at full price anyway. Why not have a chance at another 5 star through another avenue? Diego and Timothy, along with Craig, you get his drops through basic tokens, so they're always really easy to stock up. As far as Sandy and Gloria, it's more something that just started coming out of my training grounds. I started getting a bunch of them, so I went ahead and held them as I sold all the other 3 stars for supply depot points. Back to cramming. What you should know is when you're at full roster capacity, you don't get to keep any character drops from stages that you farm. But what you can keep is any reward or any purchase that you make. So let's go back out here into the inbox and look at my rewards. As you can tell, another thing I do with hoarding is I kind of store extra characters in here. It's sort of a secondary roster. You have 30 days before you lose any reward. So you just make sure to get them out. So 27 days, that looks long enough. Let's get Samuel out of there. We'll claim him. All right, and he should be in the roster now. Let's take a look. As you can see, I didn't lie. I'm now 113 out of 110, so I'm actually over capacity. And if we scroll all the way to the end, we'll see those 2 stars, 3 Samuels sitting in there. And again, this is going to work for any reward, that includes tokens, and any purchase. So let's go ahead and give an example of that. Let's come back out and let's do this 10 pull for Romanov I was talking about. Hopefully you watched my Romanov video and know how hot this guy is right now, and how psyched I would be to get him and fit him into the team. I mean, he's somebody I could just plug and play once he's leveled. I wouldn't have to worry about building up characters around him. He would work really well with what I have already. Seeing some of the boards and videos, seeing him in action, he looks pretty cool. And it does seem like people are getting lucky. He's dropping a fair amount, so he's out there. Why can't we have one? I need one. You probably need one too. Give me one. Let's see how lucky we are. All right, let's spend them. Starting us out with 3 star Holly. Okay. Axel, they haven't made a shirt yet that can hold that much sexy. Okay, Shane, that's a solid tune. He's a dupe, but good. Sandy, she'll fit in with those rebels I'm holding up. Dell, supply. We're getting into supply meat now. More Axel. If there's not one shirt, there's definitely not two shirts that can hold that much sexy. Mirabelle, a little Benji action. What do we got? If it isn't the Walker Samurai herself, all right, I guess that's it. Well, we didn't get our Romanov. We didn't get a 5-star, but if you can tell from my tone, I'm not too disappointed. That's one thing, especially free to play. You can't get your hopes up too high. The odds are just really low for 5s. Shane, on the other hand, if you're new or starting out or you missed the roadmap, that's a solid tune. You level him up, he can do stuff for you through a lot of the game until you start pulling in a lot of 5s. So, if I didn't already have him, this wouldn't have been a bad pull at all. And I just wanted to cut in here and put our results from tonight's 10 pulls, sort of like we did last time, do some final numbers. And then I also thought, if we're going to try and do this regularly, let's keep a running total. Let's see how lucky we get. No 5-star yet, but let's keep hope alive, guys. Getting back to cramming, we now just purchased 10 through a pull. So let's go take a look at the roster one more time. And you can see we have an additional 10, I'm now 13 over my capacity, and you can just keep cramming them in there. Every week there's the roadmap rescue events. Every stage you get rewarded a 1 or a 2-star, including a Burt at the end. Any other roadmaps that give trainers or characters, those will all just add in. Again, like we showed purchases, any tokens, elite tokens, basic tokens. In fact, let's give another example. Let's go open up some basic tokens real quick. Let's just open up a 10 real fast. Nothing fancy. I'm going to go ahead and speed this up. You don't need to watch these 1 and 2 stars fall, but there you have. Looks like I got about 8 of them. And we'll go back to the roster, and sure enough, I got 8 more spots in there. 131 out of 110. This is something I'll do in between any level event, whether it's faction or individual. I just start cramming more in there. Obviously, if you got some goals with players that you want to focus on, you can take the time. But once I start cramming, I'll just cram it in until the next level up event, and then I'll start pulling them out. It is a little tricky when you first start an event because you have so many characters crammed in there. You have to sort of work through them before you build enough space that you can actually start accessing your training grounds for those characters that you've hopefully prepared in there, all those 2-stars. But once it gets going, you've added another 3, 4. One event I had over 500 above my capacity. And 500 characters, I mean, that's a lot of meat to throw at a level up event. Again, the downside of this is you're not going to be able to pick up any of those character drops that you might get. But I mean, if you're at the point where I am in the game, uh, there's no 4-star that I'm going to get as a drop, especially not a 3-star that's going to make or break my team. I'm not losing sleep over not getting a Denise or a Sadiq on that 1 and 200 shot on 13-3. I can deal without having them. And the 1 and 2 stars, you're probably just throwing to conversion to food or feeding them to characters piecemeal, which isn't very efficient because you got to get rid of them if you're trying to keep your roster open. I just don't see a lot of downside. But there you have it, guys. That's cramming. Give it a shot if you think it'll help you out. If you do, let me know how it works out. If you have any other unconventional ideas for preparations, drop a line on those too. Like, comment, even dislike. I love it all. As always, I'm Burner. Flame out.